Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Oscar, and if you're new here, please subscribe. So in today's tutorial we're going to learn how to crochet this crochet lemon peel maxi dress. I named it lemon peel maxi dress because it's made up of lemon peel stitch. So in this tutorial we're going to make a medium size, but I'm going to guide you on how to make any size that you want, and it's a beginner friendly tutorial. So let's go ahead and start. So these are the materials you're going to need. You'll need a 3.5mm crochet hook, a tape measure, darning needle, a pair of scissors, and yarn. So for the yarn you're going to use this butterfly. It's a Kenyan brand and it's acrylic yarn. It's also a lightweight yarn, a fingering weight yarn. So we're going to double our strand, but I would recommend you use any other medium weight yarn. So I used a total of 14 balls of this, and this is 50 grams per ball. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. So before we begin, you're going to take measurements, and you're going to take your bust measurements, your waist measurements, your hip measurements, and the full height of the dress. And also you're going to take your measurements right above your bust, so just like this. So you're going to consider the measurements you took right above your bust. So mine measured 7.5 inches, and I'm working with a medium size. So that means for a small size you're going to make like 6.5 inches. For a large size you're going to make 8.5, and for extra large you're going to make 9.5. You're going to start with a knot. That way. Then you're going to make your chains. And your chains should be in an odd number. Okay. So I was working with a 7.5 inches. So let's take the measurements, and don't stretch your work while taking the measurements. So I'm going to place it on the 7.5 mark and then lay it flat. So I'm going to undo the extra, and now let us start the first row. So I'm just going to count to make sure my chains are in odd number. I got 38 chains, so I'm going to undo one so that I get 37 chains. Okay, now let us start the first row. So I'm going to add 2 chains that will act as a turning chain. So 1, 2. Now I'm going to go to the third chain from the hook. 1, 2, 3. So you're going to make a single crochet. So you're going to yarn over and pull. Now you have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through the 2. Okay, yarn over, place 1 double crochet in that same stitch, the first stitch. Now you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. That way. Go to the next stitch with a single crochet. So you realize that on the first stitch we placed 2 stitches. Okay, now the next stitch is a double crochet. Then a single crochet, then a double crochet. Now you're going to keep alternating between single and double crochet until the last stitch. I'm going to meet you on the last stitch. So just place single crochet, double crochet, single crochet, double crochet, just that way, and I'm going to meet you at the end. Now I'm at the end of the row and I have 1 stitch left, so I just placed 1 single crochet here, so the last stitch should be a double crochet. So yarn over and place your double crochet on the last stitch, place a single crochet in that last stitch, and another double crochet. So we placed 3 stitches on the last stitch. Okay, that way. Now let's go to the next row. You're going to chain 2, turn your work, and at the beginning of the row you're going to start with 2 stitches. So the last stitch here was a double crochet, so that means the first stitch should be a single crochet, and we are placing 2 stitches. So you're going to start with a double crochet. So yarn over and place a double crochet in that first stitch, and a single crochet in that same stitch. So that means the next one should be a double crochet. Now you're going to place a double crochet in the next stitch. So the next stitch you're going to place a single crochet. So you're placing single crochets on top of double crochets and double crochets on top of single crochets. Okay, so I'm just now going to continue the same pattern. Single crochet on top of a double crochet and double crochet on top of single crochets. So just keep doing that and you're going to meet at the end of the row. Now I'm at the end of the row and my last stitch should be a double crochet. So yarn over and place your double crochet on the last stitch and place 2 more stitches. So you're going to place a single crochet in that same last stitch and another double crochet that way. So we've placed 3 stitches on the last stitch. So let's go to the next row. Chain 2, turn your work, and the first stitch should be a single crochet. So you're going to start with a double crochet and a single crochet. So the next stitch will be a double crochet, then a single crochet, then a double crochet. Just repeat the same pattern. So keep repeating the same pattern and you're going to meet at the end of the row. Just make sure where you have a single crochet, you're going to place a double crochet there, and where you have a double crochet, you place a single crochet there. Okay, now I'm at the end of the row and I just placed a double crochet here, so that means the last stitch will be a single crochet. So you place a single crochet, a double crochet, and a single crochet that way. Let's go to the next row. You're going to chain 2. So from here, let me explain to you how you're going to continue with the increases. So right now on this previous row we placed a single crochet on the last stitch, so that means when you turn your work, your first stitch should be a double crochet, right? Because you have a single crochet here. So if it's a double crochet, you're going to start with a single crochet for the increase, then you do your double crochet, then the next will be a single crochet, then double, then single, just like that. When you get to the end on the last stitch, my last stitch here is a double crochet, so that means I'm going to place a single crochet, a double crochet, and a single crochet. Then turn your work and just repeat the same pattern and continue with your increases for some few rows. So you're going to continue with the increases until when you put it on, when you try it on, it's going to reach just below your armpits, just like this. Okay, so continue with the increases and you're going to take the measurements after I'm done with mine. Now I'm done with the increases and this is how it looks like. I'm on row 16, so let's take the measurements and see. So I stopped my increases at 4.5 inches in length, and don't stretch your work while taking the measurements. So it measures 16 inches in width. Okay, so now you're going to consider your bust measurements. So I was working with a bust measurement of 34 inches. So you're going to minus 12 from your bust inches. So 34 minus 12, I get 22. So right now we have 16 here. So you're going to say 22 minus 16, you get 6. So you're going to say 6 divided by 2 because you're going to distribute it on this side and also on this other side. So you're going to work 3 inches here and 3 inches here. So let's go ahead and continue. So I'm going to make chains that will add up to the 3 inches. And don't stretch your work while taking the measurements. So I'm going to undo it up to the 3 inches. Then I'm going to cut my yarn, and you're going to attach it on this other side and make the same amount of chains that we made on this side. So I made 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14. I made 14 chains, so I'm going to attach it on the last stitch here. And I'm going to make the 14 chains. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14. So now you've added on both sides. Okay, so let's say you're working with a bust measurement of, let's say, 40 inches. You're just going to take your measurements here, and you're going to work a bit more. If you're working with more inches than this, you can work up to 5 inches or 5.5 or even 6 inches, and you're going to take your bust measurements minus 12 and then work with the rest. Okay, so you're going to give yourself a 12-inch allowance for the back. Okay, so now let's go to the next row. Okay, and something else, when making these chains, make sure your chains are in even number. Okay, so my chains are 14 inches, that is an even number. And also you're going to consider your first stitch here. So my first stitch here should be a single crochet, then double crochet, then single crochet. Okay, so I'm starting with a single crochet here, so that means the first stitch also on this other side should be a single crochet. Okay, so I'm going to chain 2 for the turning chains, and into that first stitch I'm going to make a single crochet. Into the next stitch do a double crochet, then a single. Just keep alternating between a double and single. Now I'm done working on my chains, and my last stitch was a double crochet. So the first stitch on this other side should be single crochet because we have a double crochet here. So you're going to place a single crochet. So make sure your pattern aligns. Don't end here with a single crochet if your first stitch here should be a single crochet. Okay, so now I'm just going to continue placing one double crochet on top of the single crochet stitch and a single crochet on top of double crochet stitches. And I'm going to continue with this up to the end. So when I get to this point, I'm just going to continue with the chains, and I'm going to meet you at the end. Now this is how it looks like after we are done with this row. Now let's go to the next row, and we'll try to do some decreases on the sides. And on the next row, you're not going to do any decrease. So we'll do 3 rows, 1, 2, and 3. Then on the 4th one, you're going to do a decrease. Then walk 3 more rows. Then on the next one, you do a decrease. So right now we are on the first. So let's do the second one together. So chain 2 and turn your work. My first stitch is a double crochet, so I'm going to start with a single crochet. So the next one is a single crochet, so I'm going to place a double crochet and just keep alternating between double and single until I get to the end of the row, and then I'll work the 3rd row. Then I'm going to meet you after you're done with 3 rows. I'm almost getting to the end of the 3rd row. And this is how it looks like. Now let's go to the 4th row, where we are going to do a decrease on both ends. So you're going to chain 2, turn your work. and you're going to skip the first stitch, so you're going to start from the second stitch. So the second stitch should be a double crochet on it, so just going to yarn over and start with a double crochet. Okay, so you've skipped the first stitch, and that means you've done the decrease, and I'm just going to continue with the same pattern, one double crochet on top of a single crochet and one single crochet on top of a double crochet. So you're going to continue with this, and I'm going to meet you at the end. I'm at the end of the row, and you also need to do a decrease here. So we have 2 stitches left, and my last stitch was a double crochet. Okay, so we need a single crochet at the end. So I'm just going to go to the last stitch, skip the next one, go to the last stitch and make a single crochet. You need to keep the pattern also. So we have a double crochet and a single crochet. Now you're going to chain 2, turn your work, and you're going to start with a double crochet because the first stitch is a single crochet, and just continue with the same pattern until the end. Then you're going to do 2 more rows with no decrease. Then on the 4th one you're going to do the decrease, just the way we did here. Okay, keep repeating the same pattern, 3 rows of no decrease. The 4th one you do the decrease. So you're going to keep doing that for some few rows. Then I'm going to meet you after I'm done with mine. Then you're going to start with the skirt part. Okay, so continue with yours, and you're going to meet after we are done with that. Then you're going to take the measurements and see. I'm done working on the amount of rows that I needed, so let's take the measurements and see. So I made 11 inches in length, and also I did some few decreases here the way I showed you. Now let's go to the next step. So I'm just going to chain 1 here and cut my yarn. You don't need this anymore. And we are done with this part. So this is how it looks like. Now let's go to the next step. You're going to consider your waist measurements. So I was working with 29 inches waist measurements. So you're going to divide your waist measurements by 2. You get 29 divided by 2, I get 14.5. So you're going to put your stitch marker in between, and you're going to measure 14.5. Okay, so the remaining you're just going to leave that. So you see these measures, and you don't stretch your work while taking the measurements. So this one measures 14.5, and that is okay. So if you're working with, let's say 30 inch waist measurements, you're going to take your 15 measurements and put your stitch marker in between, and make sure the measurements, the remaining measurements here and here is equal. Okay, so what you're going to do now is you're going to count how many stitches we have in between here. Then you're going to divide it by 2, and then you're going to make chains on this side and also on this other side. Okay, so let me go ahead and count how many stitches I have in between. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 31, 32. I have 64 stitches in between here, so I'm going to make 32 chains here and 32 chains on this other side. Okay, so let us continue. So I'm going to remove my stitch marker and attach my yarn, and I'm going to make the 32 chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 31 and 32. Now you're going to chain 1 and cut, and now we've attached on this side. Now let's go ahead and attach it also on this other side. So remove your stitch marker, and you're going to attach your yarn. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 31 and 32. Now let's go to the next step. So for the skirt, you're going to work it when it's flat like this. Then when you're done, you're going to join the 2 ends together. Okay, so let's go to the first step of the skirt. Now I'm going to add 2 chains that will act as a turning chain, and into that first stitch you're going to consider the first stitch on this side, on this point. So here we have a double crochet. That means we are going to place a single crochet there. So since we have even number of stitches here, you're going to start with a single crochet. So into the third stitch, you're going to do your single crochet, then your double crochet, and just keep repeating the same pattern: single crochet, double crochet. So I'm just going to continue with this until I get to the end of the chains. I'm almost getting to the end of the chains. So the last chain will get a double crochet, and the first stitch here should be a single crochet. So you see my work, it aligns well. A double crochet, then a single crochet, and now I can continue the same pattern. Okay, now you're going to continue with this, and when you get to this point, you're going to continue to the chains and work up to the end, and I'm going to meet you at the end of the row. I've gotten to the end of the first row of the skirt part, and this is how it looks like. Now let's go to the next row. So you're going to work 4 rows with no increase. Then from the 5th row, you're going to do some increases on the hip area. Okay, so let's go to the next row. You're going to chain 2, turn your work, and into the first stitch here I have a double crochet, so I'm going to start with a single crochet, and I'm just going to place 1 double crochet on top of every single crochet, and 1 single crochet on top of each double crochet. And I'm going to do that for the next, I have 2 rows right now, so I'm going to work up to row 4, then I'm going to meet you at that point. I have made my 4 rows. We've made 4 rows here. Now let's go to the next step, where we're going to make some increases on the hip area. So you're going to use your stitch marker to mark the 2 points, and the hip area is at this point. Okay, so just mark 1 stitch there, and also on the other side here. And now let's go to the next row. So you're going to do some increases on these points, the points where you marked. So I'm going to chain 2 and turn my work, and I'm going to work with the same process, the same pattern up to the point where we have the stitch marker. So continue, and you're going to meet at the stitch marker. Now I'm at the point where we have the stitch marker, so you're going to remove the stitch marker, and you're going to place the stitch I'm supposed to place on the stitch marker is a double crochet. So I'm going to place 1 double crochet, a single crochet in that same stitch, and on the single crochet you're going to replace your stitch marker, and into that same stitch you're going to do another double crochet. So we've placed 3 stitches in 1 stitch. Okay, we've placed a double crochet, a single crochet, and a double crochet. So the next stitch you're going to do a single crochet, and just continue with the same process. So you're going to continue up to the next stitch marker, and I'm going to meet you on that point. I'm almost getting to my next stitch marker, so you're going to remove it, and you're going to do an increase there. So the stitch I'm supposed to place here is a single crochet, so I'm going to do a single crochet, a double crochet in that same stitch, and replace my stitch marker, and also a single crochet in that same stitch. So we've placed 3 stitches in 1 stitch. Then I'm just going to continue now up to the end. Now I'm done with this row, and this is how it looks like. So we did an increase here and also here. Now we're going to go to the next row, And on your next row, you're not going to do any increase, just one stitch in every stitch all the way till the end. Then I'm going to meet you after that. Then you're going to do another increase. Then you're going to do another row of the increases. So continue with this row, one stitch in each stitch, including the stitch where you have the stitch marker, and you're going to replace your stitch marker on that stitch, the stitch where you're going to do on the point where you have the stitch marker. Just place one stitch in each stitch all the way, and I'm going to meet you after this row. Now I'm done with the row with no increases. Now let's go to the next row where we're going to do increases. So chain 2 and turn your work. And you're going to work the same pattern up to the point where you have the stitch marker. Then you're going to repeat the increases. Then you can continue by yourself. So you're going to meet when you get to your stitch marker here. Now I'm at the point where you have the stitch marker. You're going to remove it, and in that stitch I'm supposed to place a single crochet. So I'm going to place a single crochet, a double crochet, and replace my stitch marker on the double crochet, the middle stitch. Then you're going to place one single crochet in that same stitch, that way. Then you're going to continue with the same process up to the next stitch marker. Then do the same increase, and when you get to the end, you're going to chain 2 and place one single crochet in each stitch till the end. Then on the next row, you're going to do the increases, and you're going to repeat the same pattern until you achieve your hip measurements. And when taking the hip measurements, you're going to stretch your work. Okay, so continue, and you're going to meet when you've achieved your hip measurement. Then from there, I'm going to explain to you how to continue. I'm done working on the increases, so you can see my work is curving at this point because we added some increases there. So when I take the measurements, I achieve my hip measurements. So I was working with a hip measurement of 38 inches. So let's go ahead and take the measurements of just one side, because this side and this other side is equal, and this side times 2 is like the middle part. So this is the quarter of the hip measurements. So I'm just going to take the measurements of this and multiply by 4. So when you take your measurements, you're going to stretch your work. So you see, when I stretch my work, it goes up to 10 inches, even 9.5, 10 inches. Okay, so this is enough for me. So you say 9.5 times 4, I get the 38 inches I was looking for. So from this point, you're just going to work one stitch in every stitch all the way up to until you achieve the height that you want. So I'm going to make a maxi dress. So I'm going to work until I have the height that I want, and you're going to meet after that. Then you're going to work on this part. So you can remove your stitch markers because you don't need them anymore. Just do your one stitch in every stitch. Don't do any more increases until you have the height that you want. But if you have not achieved the hip measurement, you can go ahead and do more increases until you achieve your hip measurements. Then you can just continue, and you're going to meet after that. I'm done working on the full height of my dress, and this is how it looks like. I made a very long one. It measured 53 inches in length. So now you're going to join this part, the open part, to form a skirt. So let me just show you how it looks like when you put it down flat. So this is how it looks like right now when you place it down flat. I made 53 inches in full length, and this is how it looks like. So let's go ahead and join this part, the lower part, to form a skirt. Okay, so now let's go ahead and join it. You're going to start from either this point or the top part. So I'm just going to start from the lower part, And at this point, anywhere can be the right or the wrong side. Okay, so let's just go ahead and start. I'm going to use darning needle to join this part. So you're just going to make sure your work aligns together. And you're going to use your darning needle to join. You can go ahead and use your hook and make slip stitches, but if you use your darning needle, it's going to be more seamless. So it's going to look better than the other one. So you see how it looks like. It's very seamless. It's not easy to notice. So I'm just going to continue attaching my work up to the end, and you're going to start working on the top part together. So go ahead and finish yours. So you can make a slit. You can start your work from, let's say, somewhere here and make a slit, or you can just do like mine. I'm going to close all the way. Okay, so continue, and you're going to meet after that. Now we are done joining this part, and I'm going to cut my yarn. So this is how it looks like. So you're going to turn your work to the right side. Now this will be the wrong side, the part where you did your joining. And this is how it looks like. It looks like a straight line. Okay, so now we are done with that part. You're going now to work on the upper part of the dress. So now let's go ahead and make the straps for this part. So I went ahead and worked on one side. We're going to do the other side together. So let's go ahead and start. So we're going to start with this part. So insert your hook into the first row here, the last stitch of the first row here. Attach your yarn, chain one, and place 1/2 double crochet in that row. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop. Now you have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 that way. Now I'm going to go to the next row, and on my next row I have a single crochet there, so I'm going to place 1/2 double crochet, yarn over, go to the next row, and the next row is a double crochet, so I'm going to place 2 half double crochets there. 1, 2, then the next one is a single crochet, so you're going to place 1/2 double crochet. The next is a double crochet, so place 2 half double crochets. So on every row which has a single crochet at the end, you place 1/2 double crochet. If it has a double crochet, you place 2 half double crochets. So the next one is a single crochet, so I'm going to do 1/2 double crochet. Okay, so it's just alternating between 2 half double crochets and 1/2 double crochet. So 2, the next one is 1, the next is 2. So you're going to keep doing that up to the end of the row, and I'm going to meet you at the end. Now I'm done with the first row, and this is how it looks like. So you're going to make 4 rows of this. So let's go to the second row, and you're going to repeat the second row up to the 4th row. Okay, so chain 1, turn your work. Now you're going to yarn over and place 1/2 double crochet in each stitch, till end of row. That way. So you're going to keep placing 1/2 double crochet in each stitch. When you get to the end, chain 1, turn, and just repeat what you're doing right now up to the 4th row. When you're done with the 4th row, you're going to chain 1, cut, and I'm going to meet you at that point. Now I'm done with my 4 rows, so I'm going to chain 1 and cut. And now this is how it looks like. So let's go ahead and make this strap. So I placed it almost at the midpoint, but on the lower part. Okay, so this is the midpoint, but I placed it at this point. So you're going to count how many stitches you have here. So you're just going to pick any point almost just below the midpoint. Okay, but since I've placed 1, I'm just going to count how many stitches I have here and make exactly the same on this side. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. So I'm going to count 11 stitches here also. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. So on the 3rd stitch, 1 2 3, you're going to attach your yarn, and you're going to chain 2, and into that same stitch place a double crochet, into the next stitch a double crochet, and into the 3rd stitch a double crochet, chain 2, turn your work, and place 1 double crochet in each stitch. So that means you should have 3 double crochets in each row. So you're going to repeat what I'm doing right now until you have enough size for the strap. So let's go ahead and measure what I've already made so that you can know the size that you're going to make. So this one measured, it measures 8.5 inches. Okay, and I'm making a medium size. So let's say you're making a small size, you can go ahead and make 7. For a large size, you can make 10 or 11. Okay, so go ahead and finish this, then you're going to make this part. Now I'm done making the strap, so let's go ahead and make one like this for this other side. So I'm just going to turn my work, and you are making 5 stitches. Okay, so you're going to count 5 stitches here. So this is the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So insert your hook into the 5th one, and you're going to attach your yarn, chain 1, and place 1/2 double crochet there. That way. So you're going to place 1/2 double crochet in each stitch. So you should have 5 half double crochets. That way. Go to the next row, chain 1, turn your work, yarn over, and place 1/2 double crochet in each stitch until the end of the row. That way. Let's go to the 3rd row, chain 1, and you're going to repeat what you did on the 2nd row. So yarn over and place 1/2 double crochet in each stitch till end of row. So in each row you should have 5 half double crochets. Okay, so you're going to repeat what you did on the 2nd and the 3rd row until you have the size that you want. So you can go ahead and test it to see if it fits. So I'm going to work with mine, and you're going to take the measurements, and I'll explain for a small size and also for a large size. So I'm going to meet with you when I'm done with this. I'm done making the size that I needed. So let's take the measurements and see. So when it's not stretched, it measures almost 8 inches, 7.75 there. But when you stretch it, it can go up to 10 inches. Okay, so this is a medium size. So for a small size, I would recommend you make 7 inches when it's not stretched. For a large size, you can go for 8.5 or 9 inches. Okay, so for extra large, you can go for 10 inches. So let's go ahead and join our straps. So you're going to join it to this rows that we made here, and you're going to join on the wrong side of your work, not the right side. So just turn your work to the wrong side, chain 1, and you're going to do the slip stitches. So each row will get 1 stitch, so 1 2 3 4, and the point where you started your stitches. So insert your hook to the first stitch here, and the point where you started on the other side, which is here, and make a slip stitch. Go to the next stitch, and now the first row of the other side, make a slip stitch. Go to the next stitch, and the next row on the other side, make your slip stitch. Go to the next, and the next on the other side, and do to that last one, and the last row on the other side, and chain 1 and cut, and you are done with that. So this is how it looks like, you see, and you're going to tie this at the back. This part, you're just going to leave it that way. It's going to give it a good style. So now let's go to the last step, where you're going to make a bow for our back. We're going to make a bow for this part. It's optional though, but I'm going to show you how to place it, then we'll be done with our work. So you're going to make your knot. So it's going to depend on the size of the bow that you're going to make. So I'm going to make just not very big and not very small. So I'm going to start with 22 chains. So 1 2 3 4 5 20 21 and 22. Now let's go to the first row. So insert your hook into the second chain from the hook and make a single crochet, yarn over, go to the next stitch with a double crochet, then go to the next stitch with a single crochet, and just you're going to repeat the same pattern, a double crochet, a single crochet, double crochet, single crochet, until the end of the row. When you get to the end of the row, you're going to chain so if the last stitch was a single crochet, you're going to chain 2, because the first stitch will be a double crochet. So place your double crochet in that first single crochet. The next one is a double crochet, so you're going to place a single crochet there, then a double crochet, and just keep repeating the same pattern. So my last stitch is a double crochet, so that means the first stitch for the next row will be a single crochet. So you're going to chain 1, turn your work, and start with that single crochet. Okay, so just keep doing this until you have the size that you need. And I have 14.5 inches in length, so this is okay. So we are going to join these 2 ends, then you're going to attach our work. So we're just going to join using slip stitches. So into the first stitch here and the first stitch of the other side, you're going to make a slip stitch, then go to the next one. So you're just going to join using slip stitches until the end. This is how it looks like. So when you get to the end, you're going to chain 1 and cut a long tail. So you're going to use this to tighten the mid part to form a bow. Okay, so cut a long tail. Now you're going to use your darning needle and make sure this part is at the midpoint. Now let's go ahead and tighten the mid part. Then I'm going to pull this that way. You see it's starting to form a bow. So I'm just going to repeat this until it's firm enough. You see how it looks like now? So let's go ahead and attach it on our dress. So first of all, you're going to make sure that it's at the midpoint, that way. And then I'm going to join on the wrong side of my work. So I'm just going to let this to the wrong side of my work. Then I'm going to join it on the wrong side. Just place it randomly, but make sure your bow is fixed in place. You can repeat it several times just to make sure, but however you place it, it's just okay. Make sure as long as it's held in place. So you see, now it's held in place. So I'm going to weave in all the loose ends now, and we are done, guys. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and see you on my next video. And if you are new here, please subscribe and click the notification bell so that you get notified when I post a new video. So that is it, guys. See you.